Warning, the following content is chaotic. The following content is chaotic. We're just a group of guys, and sometimes a lady, who say things that we feel incredibly passionate about, which aren't factually correct, but in our opinions, certainly are. If you don't like what we have to say, that's perfectly fine. We probably wouldn't like what you would have to say either, but regardless, thanks for listening or watching.
Welcome everybody to Far Side of the Pod. I'm Jordan. We got Ridge.
What's up, y'all?
We got Mikey,
Hello.
and we got Caleb.
Hola, hola, Verga.
And today we're just gonna continue on with some college football and talk a little bit more about some extra stuff. Well, let's pick up with football, guys. Let's just say, good week. It was a pretty good week of football, in my opinion.
Really weird week.
Really weird week. We didn't have no Tennessee. Did Florida play this week, Rich?
No, we was
No,
in
they were
bye
bye
week.
week.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I mean, we still got a little
We
bit.
still somehow lost.
We still. Well, hey, I mean the AP Top 25 came out. Tennessee moved up. We're above Georgia now.
Honestly,
Hey,
didn't know if we were gonna move up, but
We did.
color me impressed.
We moved up to 4, and Alabama's number 1 now.
Yeah, I saw that. Texas is number 2, and I think was it Ohio State is
Yeah,
number 3.
yeah, and Georgia's 5.
But let's
And,
all talk about the fact that Penn State is number 7 right now.
the fact that Georgia is still ranked above Oregon and Penn State is nuts, in my opinion.
The fact that Penn State is ranked 7th is still blows my mind.
And Mizzou got back in the top 10 as well.
Yeah, I was so mad about that. I wanted to keep them out so much.
it's okay. Ole Miss is out now.
Fuck yeah. Hey,
Boy, am I
man.
so happy. I hate Lane Kiffin with a passion.
Just
For
straight up.
now, you're happy. Till
Straight
he
up.
comes to Florida.
Lane Kiffin, what happened? Looking ass. No, I just can't.
I think I heard something about John Gruber possibly too.
Who?
No, no,
You say John
no,
Gruden?
no.
Why the
That
fuck
dude
would
ain't
John
got no
Gruden?
job.
There was a couple articles about it, and I was just like, this would be funny. I got to say that to Ridge.
Yeah, it's going to be funny whenever Kiffin comes in and just starts train wrecking Tennessee too.
Yeah, dude.
I love that you think that Lane Kiffin's a good coach.
I think he's a lot better than what we got right now.
He probably is better than what you
Caleb,
got now. I'll give you that.
Caleb, whether we hate Kiffin or not, he's not a bad coach. I mean, think
He's
about
not
it.
a good
Listen,
coach either.
he was.
I don't
All
think
right.
he's a good head. I don't think he's a good head coach.
No, he was a bad head coach whenever he was young. It took him growing up in the game. He was bad at Tennessee, yes,
Yeah,
but you got to realize how young he was at the time that he took that job. Now he's older. He's a little bit more mature, not a lot more, but a little bit more mature,
yeah.
and he knows how to coach well, and he knows how to throw well.
And the fact that he was the offensive coordinator for Alabama under Saban, and he got to learn a lot from Saban for some years. That really helped him out a lot. Like I'm just saying this: if he came to Tennessee after the Bama stuff, we would like him. I guarantee you, we would like him. But
Nah, I've never really cared for Lane Kiffin.
I'm not talking
I
about.
was worried about him when
I'm
he
not
came to
talking.
us, and I knew what would happen when he came to us because that job isn't the only thing he took from Tennessee.
I mean, at that time, wasn't you an Alabama fan? I probably was too. I can't lie to
No,
you. So,
no, I wasn't at that time.
not gonna lie, I did go through a Bama bandwagon scene for a little bit. You can't
I
blame me.
did, and you know
I
why
remember
I did
that.
it
You
was
was a
because of
freshman in
my
high school.
biological dad.
What'd you say, Ridge?
I remember that. You was a freshman in high school.
Yeah, it was freshman year of high school, and I mean it's
You
not
know
like
what made me quit? You know what really made me quit rooting for them?
was that.
That freaking lost Auburn.
Mm-mm. I was.
That right there was like I was already having doubts about them, because I was like, do I really want to root for the same team that my bio did? And I was already kind of on on the line with that. And then when we lost to Auburn in that just pathetic fashion, I was like, yeah, that pretty much
I lost
Seals the deal for me.
I lost my fandom that season, but earlier, because I believe that was the year that Pig Howard played for Tennessee, and that was when he made that like shoulder catch against South Carolina. That game was the game that made me a Tennessee fan. Like, come back to being a Tennessee fan, like, hands down.
Yeah. I
Uh,
never hated Tennessee.
no.
I never did hate Tennessee. It was just, as a Bama fan, you got to beat everybody. And now, when I remember when I first heard that, Nick Saban was going to retire, I remember thinking to myself, I was like, as a Bama fan, I would be terribly sad right now. But as a Tennessee fan, I'm literally laughing so hard I can't control myself.
But I'm
Because
honest.
now I was like, they're going to have to go through what we went through, but apparently not, because I guess we'll have to talk about that when we get into that game discussion.
And honestly, what got me was I was watching the game with my dad, my grandfather, and a couple of church friends, and I caught myself cheering for Tennessee, like I was like actually like super into it, and my dad was like, "See, son, you bleed orange, you bleed orange," and I was just like,
He's
damn.
like, you may wear that red, but you bleed orange.
Yeah, I was like, damn.
I remember that.
This guy's right. I had a whole like midlife crisis when I was like 13.
He was like doing the analysis in his head from that meme where it's just calculating.
All right, so first game that I thought was a little crazy is I'm kind of surprised that Virginia Tech almost got a hold of Miami, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It was 38-34. Miami pulled it off.
Miami got lucky. Apparently, I heard there was a couple controversial calls. I didn't really look at the highlights, but we were watching the other games and trying to keep track with that too.
Oh, looks like we got a someone a friend popping in for the podcast. So give her a second.
Uh-oh.
She'll be in. But no,
It's just my sister. You don't have to yell because she's a woman.
Oh.
God.
Oh,
But
We can hear you.
Continuing in to the rest of the. Oh, hey, Kelsey. I didn't ding to let me know you were in.
oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
It dinged on my end, I heard.
But we're on the topic of football at the moment, Kelsey. Just to fill you
Oh,
in.
okay.
But Kentucky beating Ole Miss is still crazy to me. Dude, they tried. They were trying to fake injuries left and right to slow down, but Kentucky just had their number. And that poor kicker for Ole Miss. You know that guy's got to be getting death threats, and
He's getting grilled so hard for sure. And and I get it. As if you're in the NFL as a professional kicker, that is your job. You're getting paid big money to do that. And, college is a little different. So, I feel like people should ease up. He's young.
Not
eventually,
really.
Eventually that won't be, too hard for him to do.
Well, Caleb, think about it. You remember back in the day when Bama had those few years where they had kickers that would miss big time kicks left and right?
That was literally the biggest weakness of Alabama during that time was their kicker. I remember that.
Is it weird that was when Kiffin was the offensive coordinator?
Yeah, I'm not surprised, honestly. So I guess if you get him Ridge, then you're gonna have a crappy kicker.
It's nothing to do with the kicker, Ridge. It was just a coincidence thing that I just thought about off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But
what I was gonna add on the
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
What I was gonna add on the Kentucky game is that I know, being a Tennessee fan, you do not want to cheer for Kentucky, but this was the one time I think we were all kind of really rooting for them. And especially what you were talking about with the faking and the injury stuff. I mean, that's one of the biggest stains I think that Lane Kiffin wears right on the front of his shirt with absolute pride. Like, it's almost like he takes pride in that he gets away with that. That's another reason I don't really like him. To me, that's like, it's just the cheapest way you could ever try to pull off a win. It just
Well, it's
makes you
not
look
that they're
bad.
trying to pull off a win. I don't think necessarily. I think it's just that they're pulling off having some time
Right.
to
Yeah, but
regroup. I mean,
still faking
if it's
injuries,
coming down to the
dude.
last few seconds and you only have an X amount of timeouts, let's say, to run through, you want to try to save as much clock as possible. How else are you going to save as much clock while you're on defense and you can't really control it?
Yeah.
You're
So
going to fake some injuries. It's just a
I
part of
completely
it.
understand. I completely get that. I think, like I said, the issue is it's really a cheap way to do it, and it should be regulated, like faking it when it's obvious that it's a like a faked injury. Like there should be some serious repercussions for that because that just makes the sport look freaking bad,
I don't know.
And
They gotta put some of these players in fucking theater class or something because
I mean, Lord, it's
the
bad. You
only
can
reason I
tell.
say that is like the one that can come off of my head is the running back for Ole Miss
Yeah,
when he did his fake injury. Dude was just literally like standing still, like
no one around him either.
no, not moving. I mean, no, they were in the huddle, and he was just standing there, and he looked over to the sideline, and then out of nowhere he just fell backwards and sold an injury.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, and that's a big flop, dude. Like that's a LeBron in Miami flop, dude.
yeah, and almost every football fan can confirm this that like this is not anything new with Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. Like this is nothing new.
It's not.
This happens a lot with
It's
him.
not.
It's not just
Yeah, it's not
Kiffin,
just
it's
Kiffin.
every
It's
Well, it's not just
everybody.
Kiffin,
team.
yeah,
All right,
but
did y'all not just
the
get done
abuse of
getting
it,
on to Oklahoma about doing that
Yeah, we
last
did.
week?
Yeah.
oh yeah,
All
I agree,
right,
but it's
it's
just
not
the
just a
abuse.
Kiffin thing.
I will say,
Just
I
trying
mean,
to stank him a lot worse than what he is.
it might be because I rarely watch any other game. I mean, I do sometimes. I'll keep up with them, but when I sit and watch a full game, it's mainly just Tennessee games. And I'll tell you, I mean, especially during the Hendon year, dude, they did that so much. But
Yes, they did. They
well,
were,
they
and
had
that
to.
tells you one thing: they were scared. They
I,
knew what was coming.
well, they had to slow us down. We got the fastest offense in the league. Like,
Yeah, they didn't have a choice, but it's still at the same time. That's honestly that just shows a lack in skill or a lack in planning, and that still falls on the coach.
right.
He takes responsibility for the team, just like if we lost, Hyper would take full responsibility for that. That's how it's supposed to be. But I just feel like the abuse that Lane Kiffin, asserts by doing that as much as he does, it makes him look bad, and I just
I think
it's
you
not a
just
good
have
look.
a very strong hate towards this man
Yeah.
and want to trash him and down him as much as possible.
Well,
That's what I think.
you got to think, Rich. He did Tennessee
You're
pretty
harping
bad.
on him just
He
as
did us
about as
dirty,
worse as
bro.
I
We can't
do with
stand him.
Kathleen Kennedy here right now.
Look, I mean, Caleb, you can hold a grudge against somebody. I mean, so I don't blame you for hating on Kiffin, but
Yeah, I
I
can't
mean, I'm
stand
gonna blame.
him.
I mean, I'm gonna blame him for what he did to us. But the dude still loves Tennessee, like he really does, and he's
We
expressed
don't
that.
want him.
I mean, I'm not. I don't want him either. I'm just saying he
We
at
don't want
least.
his love
He's
either. He can
not
take
going to
that back.
come back. I don't think y'all got to worry about that. Y'all got a coach that's going to be there for a while.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's
Hype will
just
be there for a
Unless
while.
somebody offers him a shit ton more money and he decides that he wants money. That's the only thing that's going to make that man move.
And I don't think he's in that place right now where he would do that, just based off of the last game we played. So
the thing is Heupel is such a good coach right now that
he is.
if he goes anywhere else in some years, I would say NFL. But that's just
I don't know about that.
Well, I'm not saying as a head coach, but he could definitely go to the NFL and do
but that's a big maybe
offensive.
because right now he's one of the best coaches in college football, at least in the top 10. So, give him
All
time.
right.
But continuing with some other closer games, just to name a few, Michigan barely beat Minnesota 27-24. It looks like Notre Dame and Louisville had a barn burner, 31-24. Notre Dame. Um, I will say Oklahoma beat Auburn. I will say that quarterback that came in for that one cat that sucked. He might be their new quarterback for the future, man. I mean, he's a freshman and everything. He's killing it. He's pretty good.
Yeah, I think they thought he was supposed to have had the job to start with.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why I want to say. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on it. But yeah, I think originally a lot of the big time knowing people on that side of the spectrum said that they thought that he was going to get the starting job, and it just didn't turn out that way.
Well, I think well he's clearly earned it by this point. That cat's good. I can't lie. Um, I do got to bring up. I don't know how Quentin Ewers is going to be the like if I know he's probably out for the season. Maybe I don't know. I haven't seen any updates on his injury or whatever.
They said he was recovering well last time I saw him. They said they were hoping it wouldn't take him more than a few more weeks.
But I'm gonna say this: if he comes back, I don't know how the hell they're gonna put him in over Arch Manning.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's people
The
still
same
criticizing
way
Arch Manning too.
the same way they had already done it from the beginning of the season. It's one of those jobs that you fight for hard, especially in Texas right now. You got Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning. It was a battle to have that job, and clearly they both. You can tell that they both have battled because of how good they both are.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of who they think whenever practice comes around, who has the better game again.
I mean,
So
my guess is when Quentin gets healthy and he's able to come back, they'll put him back in and let Arch, chill out for the rest of the year. I'm not saying he won't play again, and of course they're going to play some boo boo teams on the way, but let Quentin finish his college career, then Arch will have the full starting for the next year or two after, or how long he decides to stay. Um, uh, Colorado, who'd they play again? Do y'all remember who Colorado played?
no, but I can look it up real quick for you. So that way you're not stumbling on it.
Go ahead.
Uh, let's see. Yesterday, it's going to take a second. Apparently,
I mean,
A&M won
yeah, A&M won. They had a pretty good game.
21-17 against Arkansas.
Yeah,
Colorado beat UCF
UCF.
48-21.
Hey, Travis Hunter is good. I mean, we all talk about that all the time. He's super good. Hey, did you see he hit the Heisman pose? He had like a pick six or something like that to win the game, and he straight up hit the Heisman pose in the end zone.
Yeah, but like when he plays some good teams, get back with me. I feel the same. I feel like we play some real deal teams. Feel
Yeah,
like maybe next year if he can like transfer somewhere,
He
like in the
won't
SEC,
he won't.
transfer.
maybe.
He's transferring to NFL next year.
Yeah.
That's right.
The thing
I don't
is
think he'll get Heisman.
the thing is I get people doubt because he's playing on Colorado or whatever. But to me, that cat continuously shows that he is top tier. I'm not saying I'm not going to say on the limb that he's one of the best players in the world right now, but in college football, for what he does, playing both sides of the field and still putting out the shit that he does, I do think he is one of the top college football players in the world.
I can tell you this: when he goes to the NFL, he's not going to be playing both sides of the ball. They won't let that. They won't. I don't think they'll let that fly, and
I mean,
that
You'd
may
be
actually,
surprised.
he's already
you
said
know,
he's going to. Like he didn't say he wasn't going to. He said he plans on it,
plans on what.
playing both sides of the
Playing both
ball.
sides.
He can plan on it all at once, but if his coach says otherwise, he ain't going to do it.
The thing is, did they tell Deion Sanders that? And don't say it's a different time because this is the time where Deion Sanders was playing two sports. This guy played in the Super Bowl and the World Series in the same year.
Yeah, but this kid's not Dion either. He's his own guy, so it's really more of just like it's a 50-50 chance whether or not he, makes it or breaks it.
Well, this is the
And
thing.
honestly,
He's
if
not
he's as good as you're saying he is in college, I'm
Oh,
not
man.
sure how good he's going to be in the NFL.
Caleb. The
I
thing,
about got a headache.
Caleb. The thing is Travis Hunter. No, he's not Deion Sanders. He has the potential to be better than Deion Sanders, and Deion Sanders said that himself. And that's why Travis Hunter went to Jackson State instead of going to Florida State, so he can have that that leadership that Coach Prime has. And think about it, Coach Prime has made Travis Hunter a better human and just a football player. Like from not wanting to go out to parties and you know Coach Dion setting his kid up with college funds and everything. Coach Prime has helped Travis mature into a man instead of being a boy like most college kids do and get in trouble. For
Yeah.
instance, we can go into Georgia on that because we all know has Georgia's fucking stupid when it comes to getting in trouble.
Speaking of Georgia, let's go ahead and get into that game.
Let me tell you,
No.
I didn't
Just jump
watch.
ahead a little.
I didn't watch after the halftime. I probably should have because I know it was a crazy game after the fact. But my one takeaway from what I've seen, I mean, we all know Georgia is good, and they're I wouldn't say they're as good as they have been in the past couple years, but they are still good. But I'm telling you, Alabama's scary. Like, that's the first time in a long time I will say this. Alabama literally scares me watching them play. Milrow, I've been saying all year, dude, Milrow is a demon. And that Ryan Williams kid, that 17-year-old receiver, that kid is insane. Now, that's a kid that I could literally see play in the NFL right now. Like, if he ultimately had to, I feel like he would do good. And their team is just off the wall crazy. I mean, yeah, they choked a little bit when it came to letting Georgia almost come. Well, they did come back, got the lead, but Alabama, Ryan Williams ran that last touchdown to win the game. But that
Hmm.
that game was just off the wall.
I feel like Georgia's defense was like put it on too high of a pedestal.
Oh yeah, I mean, they talked about all before the game started. They talked about, oh, Georgia hasn't been scored on in so long and all that jazz. And here comes Alabama, first drive of the game, just marches on their ass.
Yeah, I was not expecting that game at all the way it went.
No, honestly, I would have horse laughed if Alabama just went up 41 to like 7 on Georgia, and that could have happened too. But I'm sure Kirby Smart dug into Georgia's ass after in halftime. No diddy.
Oh yeah, he definitely dug into him. No, did he? Why?
Ridge, you got any thoughts on that game, bro?
Oh,
Wow.
my only thoughts is that Bama is still Bama,
Yeah.
even though Saban's gone. Well, he's not even fully gone. All right, that man brought in the next coach. We all know that he did. He had a
Yeah,
part in this.
of course.
So he's still shaping that program, and he's still a part of that program. And I think that all including Florida, including Tennessee, every football program needs to look at how Bama's got it going on of having a good-minded old football coach still in there, making sure that they're bringing in the right guys
And I will
to
tell
take
you, I love seeing a passionate coach. And of course, we see coaches when shit happens, they'll go off and mouth off to the ref or whatever. But coaches that are like damn near throwing their headsets, even though they're up 28-0, I like that shit. I just I'm glad to see coaches actually try to argue and fight for their teams. We see Heupel do it. We see other coaches do it. But that's one thing I took away from him last night. I just loved watching how when the call got called against him, he would just try to fight against it. And I mean, of course, we got the coaches who do it the wrong way. Like it just, when you watch it, there's like you get that feeling like, why is this guy even arguing? Then there's that this guy's rightfully arguing. But it's Bama's Bama, and like I said, I think Milrow, he's not talked about in the Heisman discussion enough. The way he played last night, I definitely think he needs to be there. I think by the end of it, it's probably going to be him, the kid from Miami, Travis Hunter, and possibly Nico. And I'm just saying possibly Nico. I'm not saying he will be. I'm saying possibly Nico will be in the Final Four. Well, we
Well, I
got
mean, also, I mean, a lot of people have said that he's, definitely a contender for it. And I said, I mean, I'm not going to be upset if he doesn't get it, but to be in that position 4 games in your freshman year, And I'm saying 4 games because I'm counting the bowl game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and he dominated that bowl game, and he's been basically dominating everything so far. So we'll see. We'll just have to, we'll have to see how our O line honestly shapes up when we get our, 2 key starters back.
All right. Well, let's move on from college football and let's get.
Hold on.
Oh,
One last game. Sorry.
Go ahead, Rich. Go ahead.
SMU white Florida State.
Jesus. I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw when it was happening, but I didn't see the final score. What was the final score?
Final score to that game was, sorry, I had it up and then I've lost it. That's my fucking luck.
Well, either way, it's sad. Florida State
42-16.
God.
Holy moly!
The fact that they got DJ Ukulele, however you say his last name, I call him Ukulele. The fact that they got him in, they were so hyped up, especially from last season, saying that they should have been in the playoffs, and now they're what 1-4 or something like that.
Yep.
No, they are awful. Y'all fucking suck.
I think
That's all.
I think that's 1-2 now.
Have they won too?
No, just kidding.
Rip.
They're 1-4.
Either way, Florida State.
It's okay. I
Y'all
can't talk
suck.
much.
Hey, at least y'all probably beat Florida State this year. So. All right.
I hope so. I don't know.
All right, Rich. We're getting on the topic of Scream Chamber. Rich, you said you got a pretty funny or a pretty good story to tell us.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
as y'all know, as for until November 2nd, working the Screen Chamber, it's been a blast. I've enjoyed it. The only slight gripe I've had is some of the punk kids that come through that try to just harass you. It's annoying. If you are one of those children that come through and harass like that, why even go to a haunt? You don't belong. Go on elsewhere. Go hang out in the Walmart parking lot or something like y'all used to do.
No, they still do.
Well, just stay there. Don't come to the haunt because it's super unnecessary. Anyways, so I've had, let's see, yesterday, right? Because today's Sunday, yes. Sorry, I'm still confused on my days. It was a wild Friday night and Saturday night. So Saturday night, I had one girl about fall. The only reason why she didn't fall was because her boyfriend was right behind her and had a hold of her and kept her upright.
Because it was slippery, or she about passed out.
No, because she got scared to death of me and wasn't expecting me, and she about fell because of how terrified she was. So that was pretty awesome. And then we had one guy come through. He had on touch pass. This is the fun story. All right. He had on touch pass. He went through, and we have a woman at the end that she's one of the heads over the haunt. Shout out to Crystal. And she'll ask some people, hey, how was your experience? And the guy that had the touch pass went through, and he came out, and she asked that question to him, and he said, he said, in some parts it was all right, but it wasn't 100% as scary as what I was hoping for. She said, okay, I'll tell you what, you go over there, buy you another ticket, we'll put 2 more glow sticks on you and send you back through, and we'll see how you like it then. And that is exactly what he did. He bought another ticket, and instead of just having 1 glow stick on him to know that he's a touch pass, he had 3 glow sticks on him.
Oh, fuck.
And from what I heard, the whole time he was in that house, he went into a fight or flight mode the rest of the time. And it was terrific because apparently in
Holy shit.
one scene he fell down to the ground. And in another scene he was covering his head from where he had fell. He couldn't help it. Like he was in panic mode for the rest of the time. Whenever he makes it to my scene, I have another person in front of me that was still harassing him, quote unquote harassing him. Okay. Uh, and he had him backed up against the table, and he was like, "All right, calm down. I need you to calm down. I need you to calm down, calm." And I grab a hold of his arm. And I'm like, "All right, come on with me this way." And he is not wanting to move. He's starting to buckle it or bend his legs down like he's wanting to. He ain't wanting to move right now. And I finally get him moving. And I fight him, and I don't really physically fight him, but I put him down on the table, and I'm getting him to hold him down, and I feed him guts, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, what was that?" And he's not wanting to get off the table all that well neither. Like he is just struggling the whole time, and I start to just pull him off the table, and whenever I do, he just about falls to the floor. And I'm trying to catch him too to make sure he ain't busting his face on the floor. And we're pushing him on through to keep on sending him. Yeah, that fella had a hell of a time in there after he said that it wasn't what he was expecting. And he bought that next ticket, and it was a lot more than what he was expecting. And it was fantastic.
That's what he gets for talking. I mean, not really talking shit, but saying that it didn't live up to his expectation.
Well, and the fact too, though, the fact that he went ahead and bought
Another
another
ticket.
ticket,
That's crazy.
that that to me that tells us that he actually enjoyed his time too, or else
Yeah.
he wouldn't have bought another ticket.
You know,
That, or at least he knew that there was about to be, it was probably going to be a little bit more chaotic. He didn't know how much more chaotic it could be.
he probably was like, you know what, challenge accepted. Then he was like, oh wait.
And, and take it, he was by himself too whenever he came through that second time. He didn't have no one around him.
Jesus.
So he was
Oh,
getting
oh,
manhandled for sure.
that is so hell.
Borderline McCamey mannered his ass.
I mean, pretty much, yeah.
Without the hair ripping.
Well, that hair ripping without the
Pulling the
abusiveness of
teeth,
Yeah.
trying to kill
freaking porch
somebody.
waterboarding, and all kinds of stuff.
Anyways, we don't discuss them. They're not a part of haunts. All right, we
Fuck.
don't accept them in
Fuck.
our line of work. All right.
Fuck McCamey Manor. That's all I gotta say. Well, not fuck Russ McCamey, whatever his fucking name is. That guy's
Yeah, that dude's a
ass.
scamming piece of shit.
But to speak on haunts, I don't know if any of y'all. I'm sure Ridge has watched some of the house walkthroughs, but I will say, from what I heard, it's a good year at HHN this year. Um, I heard Insidious is a mean ass house. I mean, it is. I watched the walkthrough, and that's a pretty damn good house.
I've heard mixed reviews on this year.
I mean, I've heard mixed reviews too, but I've heard that the Insidious house is like actually really scary. Like they did a really good job on that house specifically.
Well,
But
yeah,
the,
I've heard that house is supposed to be good though. Sorry, I was delayed.
yeah.
Hey,
Well,
real quick, back to the screen chamber. When are y'all supposed to be coming through? Because I ain't seen y'all yet.
I'm
I
not. So
Uh,
quit looking.
mean, I will, but I got to get through going
I
to
thought
Florida and
all
all
of
that
y'all were
jazz.
coming.
I tried talking Mikey into it, but he ain't going to. He ain't with that ish.
Oh, come on, Mikey, just for me.
No, not for you.
Why not? We don't touch you if you don't buy the pass. You'll be okay.
I still don't want to.
But Ridge, knowing you would try to just because of
No,
us.
I won't because it's not. It's against the rules
Ah,
for us
true, true,
to touch people without touch pass. We get in trouble if we did that.
true. I'm definitely I'm definitely gonna
Still no.
come. I'm definitely gonna come this year. Just because I've been wanting to come for the last few years in first place, but I'm definitely gonna make my way. But everybody, if you're in the East Tennessee area and everything, go check out Scream Chamber. They got
Even if you're not and you
yeah,
want a good haunt to go to,
yeah. Athens, Tennessee. Look them up. Facebook, Google, anything. They're pretty much on everything. Just look them up. They're good people. And top tier haunt in the state of Tennessee. If
top tier haunt in the United States.
yeah, there's no way around it, man. They're good. All right, so moving on to our next segment. We're gonna let Mikey tell most of this, but looks like Pal World is getting sued by Pokemon or Nintendo. But Mikey, you go ahead and tell a little bit about it. You know more about it than I do, probably.
Okay, so I've just seen more about it and all my stuffs. But short and quick of it is, yes, Nintendo is suing the creators of Pal World. Again, they are trying to sue them again, this time on a patent. That patent being throwing objects at a creature in a 3D space.
That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, because that could literally mean anything.
Right. So their actual detailed patents has more than what I just described. So that is just disclaimer. The patent that was introduced to the Japanese court has different details about different things and shows it a bit more detailed. But that is essentially the premise. Throwing an object, potentially a capture object, at a creature in a 3D space that would then change that creature's code in game to owned by the player.
That's weird.
Do you follow?
Yeah.
I get you. The fact that
What is
they waited. I mean, have they had a lawsuit before? Is this the first lawsuit that they've done for Pal World?
this is a lawsuit they've actually had like ground to run on, but the issue is, from what I've understood, Nintendo adjusted this patent. This patent already there was a patent that they edited basically in order to. So hold on.
It's my thinking. In fact, this game's been out what over a year, and it's been an independent game. And there's a lot, to me at least, there's enough differences to separate it from a Pokemon game. But just the fact that they're trying to sue them mainly over just because you can throw capsules at them and catch them.
So originally, Nintendo came after Pal World because some of the pals looked close to Pokemon.
Right.
So one of the lawyers says it's Kurihara identified 4 divisional patent applications that Nintendo and the Pokemon Company jointly registered after Pal World's launch in January. A divisional patent contains isolated content from an already registered parent patent. So here's the patent: aiming a capture item at a character placed on the field, releasing the captured item in a direction determined by player input, judgment of whether or not capturing is successful or not upon contact between the thrown item and character infield, and changing the status of character infield to owned by the player when capturing is successful. Well, that's just a detailed version of what I said. It's they are patenting the ability to throw something that would allow you to catch something else in the field of a game.
This all started from the fact that this is all stirred up from them thinking that it just looks too much like our, they're using our stuff that looks a lot like it. But if you go back and look at what Pokemon copied from, Dragon Quest, it's really like hypocritical for them to be suing them for those reasons.
I mean, you could think of a lot of games that they've took from other games, like, just a loosely based, like the newer Legend of Zelda games play. I mean, at least in my opinion, they play a lot like the somewhat newer Assassin's Creed games. Like
It's
that.
funny that you mentioned that. So my question is Ubisoft going to try and sue Nintendo over the towers in Breath of the Wild? The ones that reveal portions of the map when you get to the top of them?
Yeah, the synchronizations.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true.
So, and I love Nintendo. I've been a Nintendo fanboy since I was very, very, very little. Y'all know that. And this pisses me off so much at Nintendo because it's like, hey, it's a free market. If you want to hit them for having characters that look almost, if they have models that look just like your characters, be like, hey, look, maybe change them up and let it be. That way, it remains, free market that way. But like, I understand some boundaries, but this waiting and doing how they've done it is just it's taking it too far.
Kelsey, oh, sorry, Mikey.
Oh, no, you're fine. Go ahead. I was just going to try and put it into perspective for anyone who's like not a Pokemon fan or a fan of that kind of genre. Here's an idea. Do you like battle royales? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. What if, I don't know, the creators of PUBG tried to patent and then sue everyone who's ever made a battle royale because of PUBG?
Right.
Yeah.
Still not
Exactly.
clicking? Okay. Call of Duty. Medal of Honor. Are we going to copyright the idea of war or war fighting in video games? Is that what's next? That's just to put it into perspective. That's the gravity of it.
That's crazy. Kelsey, I know you're also a Nintendo person. You got any thoughts on this situation?
No, basically just what you guys have been saying. A game doesn't need to be around for so many years to be good. And Pal World, from what I've heard, I've never played it, is good. So, no, I whatever you guys are saying is basically hitting every mark.
All right, and anybody else got anything to say on the situation?
I was just gonna say that Pal World is actually a pretty awesome game. I mean, I get why Niantic or Nintendo, whoever's in charge of that division, would maybe be a little upset at it. But as I said, I think that this lawsuit is taking it too far. And also, I agree that I feel like if you add to a patent after someone basically is like makes a game that's not a carbon copy, but it's a version of of your creation that you probably wouldn't like. If you add to that patent, I feel like that should just affect future projects. It shouldn't affect a game, especially and all this is also happening after PlayStation purchased the rights to sell or to have it there.
Right.
So that's the reason it's gaining traction, and Nintendo wants their money for it. That's really what it boils down to, I think.
That's dumb.
Yeah, it's a dumb reason. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I believe that's the reasoning. And it's weird because Nintendo's a bit is a company that could literally, like, by statistics from what I've read, could literally fail at every single video game sale, console sale, and accessory sale for 50 years before they went bankrupt.
Right.
So I don't understand why money is that much of an issue for something this, even though it's one of their more major games, it's something so small that it really isn't much more than, a stone's throw in a giant, sea.
I think the issue comes from making a point it's a free market until it's not. And the thing is, Nintendo has never lost a lawsuit like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's taking place in Japanese court. The problem is, well, there's numerous problems, but the biggest problems to me are why should anyone be allowed to patent and then sue over game mechanics? And then I don't believe a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's okay." But this shouldn't be okay. This is to me it feels like a blatant attempt at monopolization of a thing. But maybe that's just me. It just feels like an attempt at a monopoly. Like,
Yeah.
because what happens if Nintendo wins this, y'all? What then? What does that say for the rest of the gaming community as a whole?
It's almost like you look at your fan base who say, "Hey, we actually do want this," and saying, "I don't give a shit what you want." That's what that says to the fan base of Nintendo, is like, Nintendo doesn't care what you want. It's going to be their way or the highway, and you're going to enjoy it. It's just really that's not something I say lightly, as I said, because I'm a massive Nintendo fanboy, and it just this whole thing has made me really just upset and sick.
I think if this goes through, it will prove to many that no matter how much any corporation or gaming company could tell us that they care about us and what we think, it doesn't have to be that way. It could prove to us that their words mean absolutely nothing, and they will do whatever it takes to continue to make themselves money.
But you'd figure the smart way to go about that is keeping your fan base happy, because if you do, you make more money. That's the issue. I think I agree with you on that.
All right, so we're gonna
We'll just
move.
have to see what happens.
All right, so we're gonna move on, and we're gonna go to the bracket of the week. This week we are doing a bracket on. We're doing bracket on the MCU. Now, disclaimer: not every single MCU project is going to be in this bracket, just because I couldn't fit it all in the bracket. But I think we're gonna
I
have a
think we'd
good.
be here for days if that was.
Yeah, but I think I got a pretty good bracket on our hands. So let's get into it. All right. All right.
Hey,
So
can I ask a quick question? I know this is very late.
okay, go ahead.
Everything that y'all were just talking about was almost going right by my head. And it made me think about another game comparison.
Mhm.
Wouldn't that be like Nintendo suing Naughty Dog creations for Crash Bandicoot versus Mario Kart?
True.
I mean,
Along that
kinda,
vein, I
yeah.
see what you're trying to say.
It's like Rare getting sued by Nintendo for making Diddy Kong Racing. It's like kind of like it's like an internal thing, but external. You know,
Yeah.
Right.
doesn't make sense.
All right. So, like I said, MCU bracket. We got a pretty good amount of stuff, especially compared to last week. So let's get into it. Let's start off with a low hitter. We got Ant-Man Quantumania versus Thor Ragnarok. Ridge, I'll let you go first.
I'm gonna go with Thor Ragnarok.
Yep. Yeah. Caleb
Ragnarok. That's my favorite one.
and Mikey.
I would have to say Ragnarok for this one. Quantumania was good, but
Kelsey. I know what you're gonna say.
Thor Ragnarok, and it's not even because of why you think. It's because of Jeff Goldblum playing the Grandmaster.
Yeah,
He killed it.
Yeah, he really did.
and I'm gonna say Thor Ragnarok too. Don't get me wrong. We all know that, but it doesn't take away from Quantumania in my opinion. I mean, the best part of that movie was Kang, undoubtedly. But Thor Ragnarok is just it's definitely a top 10 MCU movie at the least.
Oh yeah,
So we definitely
it's one of
got
my favorite ones.
that thing pushed on. Um, let's go with this one. All right, we got Captain America: Winter Soldier versus Iron Man 2.
Oh,
Ugh.
Ridge, go ahead.
I thought you said this would be easy.
So Winter Soldier versus Iron Man 2, right?
Yes.
I am going with Winter Soldier.
Word. Caleb.
Man, it's a tough one. I do like Iron Man 2, but I like Iron Man 1 so much more than 2 that I'm going to probably have to go uh, the opposite direction on this one because, yeah, I just like that one better.
Mikey.
I'm gonna have to say Winter Soldier on this one. We got Bucky. Bucky.
Oh, we got Bucky as the Winter
Booker.
Soldier for the first time.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
Kelsey.
I'm gonna have to say Winter Soldier
Yeah.
because it does bring in a very important character, whereas Iron Man 2 is just developing. I love War Machine. He's great, but I feel like Bucky has more of a story to tell in Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I have to say Winter Soldier too. Winter Soldier is top 5 MCU movie for me. The hand-to-hand combat in that movie is just
Got a darker
insane.
feel, too.
Yeah, the darker feel to it. I just love it.
It almost gives DC vibes in a sense, like good DC.
When it comes to
Not
the
like,
grunginess, yeah.
yeah.
All right, let me see another one here. All right, we got Guardians of the Galaxy 3
Mm.
versus Moon Knight. Ridge, go ahead.
Uh, Jeez. I'm trying to remember everything that happens in both. I'm gonna have to go with Guardians 3.
Respectable. And I'm
I
I'm
mean, Moon Knight is great, but so
I'm
is Guardians 3.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell my thing because I'm the opposite. I mean, I like Guardians 3. I think the villain in it is fantastic, and we all know Rocket's backstory is heartbreaking, to say the least. And then, I was bawling in the movie theater to that movie. But I loved Moon Knight. Moon Knight was one of my favorite projects they've done in the last couple years. And I think it's underappreciated. I have to say Moon Knight. Caleb, what do you say?
Surprisingly enough, Jordan, I was actually going to say Moon Knight as well. And the reason being is I haven't fully seen Guardians 3, but I know what, happens. And it is, it's a really good movie from what I've seen, and, but I've seen all of Moon Knight, and I thought Moon Knight was good. So,
All right. Kelsey, what do you think?
Guardians 3, and only because of when they are uh jumping from the ship to, I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember like the area.
Right, the
It's
Utah.
but you understand what I'm saying. They were in the suits,
Yeah, they were nowhere.
and
Oh, no, no, no. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Never mind.
it's not nowhere. It's somewhere different, and it has who is it? Nathan Fillion. Oh
Yeah.
gosh. Um, but the quote that Quill gives to Gamora. And it just breaks my heart. I cry every single. It's not even about Rocket at that point. Like, to me, I'm such a big fan of Gamora and Quill. I love them so much. I'm gonna have to go with them.
All right. Mikey?
I'm gonna have to say Guardians 3, and a couple of reasons. Firstly, Moon Knight, I like the character, but it's on the same level as like the first Venom for me. Right, like cut out all the super powered and supernatural bits, and you're watching a guy who appears to be violently schizophrenic. And that's about it.
Well, but if you think about it, Moon Knight is schizophrenic.
No. He is violently schizophrenic, but you take away all the powers, and that's it. He's just schizophrenic. He's not super powered and schizophrenic. He's just psycho.
Let's be real. If they added in him being a super addict on ketamine and shit. That would have been hilarious.
But there's another reason, and for some reason, it just hit me right in the feels at not really spoilers, but towards the end, right before they play the credits in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, it shows a great big celebration. And I have Kelsey to thank for this. She introduced me to Florence and the Machine. But that
Oh, yeah.
celebration at the end of the movie made me cry.
Yes.
It made me cry tears of joy because, one, I love the song, and two, there was just so many emotions deep inside me at that point when I had watched the movie that I too felt like I could very well be Rocket in that moment, just howling to let it out. It was a very emotional moment, and if I had to pick a scene that made me love the movie, it was that one.
Respect.
Oh, yes.
And
Not to mention, oh my God, wait, hang on. Like, yeah, in that scene directly, Mikey, when it starts playing, the chorus is when Drax is surrounded by all the kids, and he's like standing there and waiting for the chorus to drop, and then he just starts dancing, even after 3 movies of him saying that people who dance are stupid. It's just it ties everything together.
And he dances like a great big idiot. I love it.
Oh, I love it. Love it.
all right,
All right, Jordan.
all right. On to the next one. Let's get this one out of the way. We got Spider-Man: Homecoming against Captain Marvel. The first one. Bridge, go ahead.
Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Caleb.
Homecoming. I didn't care. Like I wasn't horribly into Captain Marvel. It wasn't a bad movie, but I like Spider-Man more.
Mikey.
Not gonna lie, it's Homecoming, no diff.
Yeah. Kelsey.
Homecoming.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Sorry, Captain Marvel. It was the first one was decent, but
It's a good movie, but you can't fight that well with Spider-Man.
yeah, no.
Michael Keaton too.
Yeah, Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
My problem was that Captain Marvel is, helping the bad guys through most for a good portion of the movie, right? And then it's like, oh no, I've been helping the people who did this to me, and then there just is no remorse, no real remorse shown for that. It's just like, oh, you were brainwashed. It's not your fault. Oh, okay, cool. You still did that shit.
Yeah. All right.
That's something that really shot the movie in the foot for me.
Let's stay on the Captain Marvel
Hate
ride,
train.
and let's get this one out of the way because this one's going to be undoubtable too. The Marvels versus Infinity War.
Wow.
I think everybody
What?
all at once say it.
I didn't realize Marie Antoinette was already
Infinity
under
War.
the guillotine.
Infinity
Jesus.
War.
Wait, how
Infinity
come?
War.
Why would? Okay, so yeah, those two, that it blows the Marvels out of the water, though.
Yeah.
I was about to
But
say, I
did you
didn't.
custom that one?
No, it randomly put in most of it.
That's
The-
awful.
Yeah.
Those two shouldn't be up against each other. That's just
But honestly,
awful.
there's only like one or
Freak
two.
out.
Let's be real. There's only like one or two movie that could overtake, that the Marvels could overtake.
The Marvels was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. I mean, there's not a MCU movie that I say I hate. But
I mean, I love Zalwe. She's beautiful, and I think she killed it in that role.
yeah, she
I mean,
did.
I know a lot of people don't like it, but I thoroughly enjoyed her as the villain.
And I'm gonna go ahead and get this one out of the way too because it's pretty much gonna be the same way, honestly. Black Widow versus No Way Home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Again, why are they putting up these movies?
I mean, they're part of the same franchise, so.
It's stupid. Don't put them up against each other like that, though. I mean,
But there's more. But as the bracket continues, it's gonna get
well,
hectic.
well, yeah, because I mean, it's going to have to
Yeah. All right.
because we got all these winners and that
Yeah,
some losers.
this topic is going to be very hard when it gets down to it because we're all
Just
very
gonna go ahead
passionate
and tell
about
y'all.
Oh
this.
yeah.
The winner's rigged.
Yeah, the winners probably end up going to be rigged.
I want to recount already.
All right. This is probably gonna be a low diff one too. Um, Deadpool and Wolverine versus the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now it's not as
Deadpool.
bad as a low diff as the other two because I love Falcon and Winter Soldier. Zemo was my guy, and we get to see Sam in his Captain America suit, and Bucky was great in it as well. But it's hard to go against Deadpool and Wolverine in my opinion.
Yeah.
Don't say too
Dead.
much because I don't think Kelsey's seen it. I mean, she's probably seen the spoilers, but
Yeah, I've not seen Deadpool and Wolverine yet. It's not come out on Disney Plus yet,
well,
and I'm too lazy to go to the theater to watch it.
guess what?
Oh, it's so good.
It comes out on the 1st on Disney Plus. So when we come down, we'll watch it.
Hell yeah,
And then you'll have to talk about it.
yeah.
But are we?
It's amazing.
Everybody else who's seen it, Bridge, I know what you're gonna say. Just go ahead and say it.
I really enjoyed Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those. Why did it have to put that up against Deadpool and Wolverine?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. It shouldn't be that way. But since it is Deadpool and Wolverine,
And I'm guessing everybody else is gonna say Deadpool and Wolverine, Mikey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say Deadpool Wolverine.
All right. So we got those out of the way, so we can continue with some good arguments. We got Iron Man 3 versus WandaVision.
Oh no, no,
Oh,
no!
I'll
I
go
want
first.
Go ahead, Ridge.
WandaVision. Easily. For me, at least, because I didn't stay up just to get pissed off whenever I had to take a test later on the next day.
Caleb.
WandaVision.
All right, Mikey.
I'm gonna have to say WandaVision.
Kelsey.
Okay, so I love Iron Man 3. I believe that Iron Man 3 is the best Iron Man movie.
Eek.
Oh,
Eek.
whoa.
Eek.
Oh no, don't do this to me, brothers.
Oh.
God.
Listen, no,
What
don't
the
hurt
hell's
me.
wrong with you?
No. Listen. Okay, I love Iron Man 1. Okay, that movie is great. Iron Man 2 is okay. I'm more like fell asleep halfway through it and then like woke up at the end. I was like, oh wow, that's great. But the third one, I don't know. I believe it fully ties in. Like it helps Tony Stark realize like who he actually needs to be.
I do agree with that.
However, WandaVision is it was one of the Disney Plus shows that I stayed up to watch.
Yeah.
And brought me to tears because it was done so well. And of course, Wanda is one of my absolute favorite characters of all time. But just the heartbreak.
And honestly, like the shift, like when you watch the first couple episodes, you're like, oh, okay. I mean,
Yeah. And then it starts getting weird.
Yeah, then it got all weird, and the whole final battle, really, that whole thing was mind blowing. And when they brought in Evan Peters instead of Aaron Taylor Johnson, I was pissed off. I was kind of mad at that. I mean, I do love Evan Peters, but I really love Aaron Taylor Johnson. But I thought it was cool because I really thought we was gonna get some X-Men shit in it. But then it turned out to be Ralph Boner.
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 It's like, damn, dude, damn.
They were a bunch of fucking children.
But I think one of my favorite parts in WandaVision was Deborah Jo Rupp. Because whenever her and her character and her husband are sitting at the table with Wanda. She's like begging her with a smile on her face, like, please stop. Please stop. And it killed me. I was like, there's no way this I got chills talking about it. Like, it was insane. I did not expect that out of a Disney show at all.
I mean, hey, Miss Kitty is good in anything. Miss
I
Kitty,
know, but
she
it
plays that
just,
70s show. I mean, she's good in anything. So, but go
I'll
just the
tell
ahead.
you
fact
that lady.
that show
I
gives me
love that
chills.
lady. That lady is one of my. She is one of the GOAT actresses for me, and that's not just from the That 70s Show. I swear, every time I've seen her in a form of media, she's done well, regardless of how bad or good the show is.
Yeah.
I mean, she's
Fact.
in. Yeah.
All right. So,
But WandaVision, yeah.
yeah, WandaVision, hands down. Okay. Let's keep up. How about this one? Civil War versus Doctor Strange, the first one.
That one's tough.
I mean, Doctor Strange is a phenomenal movie. I mean,
Yep.
I went and watched it in theaters in 3D and got to watch all that earth-bending shit in 3D, and that was wild. Me and Brittany love that movie to the moon and back, but Civil War is top 3 Marvel movie. I mean, we got the introduction to Black Panther, we got the introduction to Spider-Man, and just to see that, that whole final sequence when Tony realizes that it was Bucky that killed his parents, and Steve knew, and the whole final fight. He's my best friend, or he's my friend, and he's like, so was I, and that whole movie is just insane. Ridge,
Civil War.
yeah, Caleb.
That was our first introduction to
That's a
Black
toughie.
Panther and Spider-Man.
Yeah, Caleb, go ahead.
That is such a tough one because I really, really, really love the first Doctor Strange movie. It was just a fantastic movie. However, Civil War, as you said, is top 3 goated movie for MCU. Man, I'm gonna have to go with Civil War on that.
All right, Mikey.
I'm gonna have to say Civil War because one, just the tragedy. At this point, if anyone knows me, they know that much like my sister, if it has tragedy, I'm interested. And the tragedy of watching Steve and Bucky beat the crap out of Tony, who really, like, I was Team Cap until that scene.
Mm-mm.
I would I didn't see villains. I just saw broken people, and my heart hurt so bad for Tony because I'm like, oh, here's one of Tony's friends, someone he's literally tried to save the planet with, beating the brakes off of him because his buddy got MK Ultra'd into a war criminal. Like,
All right, Kelsey.
Civil War.
I'm going to play devil's advocate and go for Doctor Strange. Basically,
Whoa.
the opposite reason of why Mikey said is because as much as I love a good tragedy, I hate miscommunication. Absolutely hate it. And
Yeah, yeah,
for Tony
yeah.
and Cap to not talk it out and instead use just their anger against each other because they're both arrogant and egotistical. Instead of being like, "Hey, this guy killed my parents or killed my dad," and I'm very angry at him, and it makes me want to kill him. And then, if they sat down and be like, "Listen, he had no idea what he was doing. It wasn't his fault." Maybe then we could have some resolve here and not try to kill each other. But I hate miscommunication. I hate it.
But
It's one of my least favorite tropes of all time.
that's one
So
Yeah,
I'm
reason.
gonna go with Doctor Strange.
That's one
yeah,
reason.
Kelsey's got me there.
That's
Not
one
enough to
reason.
change my answer, but she's got me.
That's one reason why I like Zemo so much. And Zemo gets overlooked as a villain so much. I mean, now, technically he's kind of like a 50-50 in a way, or more 75-25 thing. But the fact that that one man almost brought the destruction of the Avengers. Well, he technically did.
He did, because they didn't talk for however many years after that.
Years. Because you got to think about it. Steve didn't see Tony again until after uh, Carol brought him
After
back in
Infinity
Endgame.
War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This,
So it was literal years before they ever got back together again, and we're like, hey, so you remember that thing that happened? Sorry. Not really, but sorry. I don't think they ever got that good conclusion because Tony in Endgame, he had gotten over I mean, I wouldn't say got over, but he moved on. He had Pepper and he had his daughter, and that's all he needed. And then here comes Cap being like, hey, by the way, we need you to do this for us. And it's like, can we get an apology first?
right. I mean, but it was big of Tony just to be like, hey, I just want world peace, all right? This is all I want.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on from that, we're going to stay on the topic of Iron Man and Captain America, and we got Iron Man versus Captain America the First Avenger.
Oh,
Um,
Oh, no.
let's change up a little bit. Mikey, you go first.
oh man, I really didn't want to go first this time. Um, damn. All right, I'm gonna have to go with Iron Man on this one.
All right.
Like, I love Captain America, but without the first Iron Man,
Yeah.
We don't get Cap
Yeah.
without Iron Man.
So, Ridge, go ahead and say yours since I know yours already.
Well, I mean, I pretty much just told you.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have Cap if it wasn't for Iron Man. But, I mean, even whenever I was young and after I'd seen Iron Man, I thought, okay, now we got him. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a live action Captain America next.
Yeah.
That was the first, to me, the first Avenger. I know he wasn't, but
Well,
it was.
in this universe, he was the first movie, so
Well, yeah, but he was also the first one that
yeah, I get what you're saying.
got told, "Hey, I want you to be a part of this Avengers team too."
Yeah.
So, but he was a startup, and he is the only. That is the only reason why I cried in Avengers Endgame,
Yeah.
or one of. Let me rephrase that. I almost cried during another part, but I only cried hard at the end.
Right. Caleb.
Yeah, for me, it's not as hard as the last options I've had to choose, but it's Iron Man. I really like Captain America. It's a great movie, but like y'all said, if it wasn't for the Iron Man movie, if it wasn't for Robert Downey Jr. and the Iron Man movies, then we wouldn't have Captain America. We wouldn't have probably what we have today at all.
Kelsey.
Iron Man. Because I remember watching it in theaters with you and Dad.
I wasn't
And
there.
that was like or maybe it was just Dad. But like, that was my introduction to Marvel as as a young girl. And from that moment, it changed history, brother.
Iron Man, to me, is one of the most underappreciated movies in the whole franchise. I mean, yeah, it gets its nod for it being the first, but the the CGI in that movie looks better than most CGI nowadays. And just that whole scene when he's got the whole suit on for like really the first time, and he like goes to the Middle East and pulls that guy through the wall, and he's just like, he's all yours, and like flies away. And that whole tank scene where he shoots that little missile at it and just explodes behind him. That's like, it's when you think of a superhero movie and the whole explosion walking away from it. That's, to me, that's one of the best walking away from an explosion scenes I've ever seen.
really quick, I want to say, were it not for the first Iron Man movie, I don't think I would have gotten a better introduction to Black Sabbath.
Oh yeah.
Like, I didn't know I didn't know anything about nothing, and then that shit changed my
Yeah.
brain. That changed my brain chemistry. I was looking at my hands, like I was looking at my hands after when Optimus Prime delivering a speech. I was like, maybe I am Iron Man. Young ass me. Like, you know what? Nah, I could build it in a cave.
All right, let's
That's the main thing I think of is Tony Stark
built this in
built
a
this
cave.
suit in a cave with a pile of scraps.
With a pile of scrap.
All right, we still got a bit in the
Oh,
front in the first round, so let's keep her going. Let's get this one out of the way. Loki versus Hawkeye.
Loki.
Oh, it's Loki.
yeah, I was about to say this. I love Barton. Loki. Sorry, bub.
The thing, Hawkeye is a good show, but
Oh yeah, it is.
especially this. I mean, the first season of Loki is fantastic, but that second season's out of the water,
Yes,
insane.
sir.
Me and Kelsey watched the finale to that movie together.
Oh my God. The
Jeez.
tears.
Well, that
The
show,
tears I shed,
I was gonna say,
dude.
what movie?
that show, the movie show. Yeah, you got me.
Yeah, the second season. The tears, man. The music alone made me absolutely sob for days, and it still does.
Ridge.
Well, since I know now that it's both Loki episodes, yeah, Loki. Don't get me wrong, Hawkeye was great, but second season of Loki's what made Loki uh Loki one of the best heroes coming out of it.
Yeah.
The Loki.
Who? All right, Mikey. Have I said you yet or no?
Well,
I mean, I know.
yes, I already said Loki.
Okay, Caleb.
Oh yeah, Loki. I like Hawkeye, but I like the Loki series so much more. It's just I don't know what it is about it. It's just Tom Hiddleston is the perfect Loki, and the way that they
Glorious
went about doing
purpose.
everything, you know,
I mean, there's not much
the
of
way
a
they went
fight,
about
really.
doing everything with the show is just like perfect. Like you
There's
can't beat it.
there's not much of a fight, really. I mean, we all know how amazing Tom Hiddleston is, and just that whole cast did insane on that show. And just it's top tier, like it really is.
Shout out to my boy.
All right, so we got a few more in the first round. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 versus Ant-Man and the Wasp. What do y'all think? Ridge, go ahead.
Ant-Man the Wasp.
Yeah, okay. Starting off strong, huh?
Yep.
All right, Caleb.
What was it now?
Guardians 2 versus Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Guardians too.
All right, Mikey.
I'm gonna say Guardians too.
And I'm going to go ahead and say mine because I have a feeling what Kelsey's going to say, but I'm going to say Ant-Man and the Wasp. Just because I like the Guardians, but I, in some points, think they're overrated. I mean, I love them. There's nothing about them that I really hate, but that's just me. Kelsey?
Guardians 2. Come on. Tell me you didn't cry whenever at the end
Oh, yeah.
when Yondu saves Quill.
Yeah, I mean, that scene
I
alone is
did.
good.
He wasn't your father.
Yeah.
I sure didn't.
He might have been your
The
father,
Yeah, he
but
might.
only
I'm your daddy.
Yeah, but he
Yeah,
wasn't your daddy. Oh,
yeah. Let me
I'm
tell
Mary
you,
Poppins.
I was bawling. Okay,
For the
I was
scene,
All of us with
bawling.
daddy issues.
you look like Mary
It
Poppins.
may have been your father, boy, but he weren't your daddy.
He look like Mary
Yeah, no,
Poppins. Is he cool? Yeah. I'm
Hell
Mary
yeah.
Poppins, y'all.
I fucking love that bit.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
All right. So we got Shang-Chi versus Spider-Man Far
Ooh.
From Home.
Ooh.
I'm going to go ahead and say mine because I'm going to start this off hot. I'm going Shang-Chi. Just because I think Shang-Chi is one of the most underrated Marvel movies. That fighting in that movie alone is insane. Especially that final fight with his dad at the end of it. The cinematography in that movie is just insane in my opinion. I love it. That's me. Mikey, I'll let you go next.
I'm gonna have to say, I'm gonna have to say Far From Home on this one.
Okay. Caleb?
I like Shang-Chi. I really do. But I'm a bigger Spider-Man fan, so I enjoyed No Way Home a little bit more. So I'm gonna have to go with No Way Home
This is Far From Home, not No Way Home.
or Far From Home. I mean, yeah, sorry.
All right. Ridge?
Oh gosh. You see, Shang-Chi was a very well done movie. And I just it was great. The fighting was great in it, but in Far From Home just had the better ending to correlate into what we is going to eventually get with the next movie. So I gotta go with
Yeah.
Far From Home.
The ending is nice. Kelsey?
Um, I do like Far From Home, especially the famous quote. You know what? Double the damage. I love that. I love Jake Gyllenhaal's performance in it. But I really, here comes that like miscommunication stuff again. I hate the plot. I hate I hate the oh, my secret identity has been revealed, and then that leads to, oh well, I want everybody to forget who I am, or forget Spider-Man, or
We're
forget
in.
I'm Spider-Man.
This is Far From
I
Home.
I
This is Far From Home, not No
I
Way Home.
know, I know. I'm
Oh.
saying it leads to
Oh, yeah. Okay. My bad.
Mysterio revealing his secret somehow leads to him being like, I want everybody to forget who I, and I hate that. I don't like the plot of the Spider-Man movies. Like, I love them as they are. Now I love No Way Home, but I'm gonna have to go with Shang-Chi because it deserves its flowers. It's a really great movie.
All right. All right. Those three more in this first round. Let's go Black Panther versus Guardians of the Galaxy. The first Guardians of the Galaxy, of course. I'm gonna go ahead and say mine because we all know what it is. Black Panther is just special to me, with Chadwick Boseman being my favorite actor of all time. And no, it wasn't because of Black Panther. It was way before Black Panther. Um, but just Killmonger is one of the best villains of all time, in my opinion. And the emotional connection through that movie with all the characters and the story, the action, the shots. It's damn near perfect to me. Black Panther. Ridge, go ahead.
Black Panther by far. There's no guesswork to that. It's Black Panther.
And I'm not taking away from Guardians 1, because Guardians 1 to me is the best Guardians movie. But yeah, Mikey.
I'm going to have to say Black Panther for this because, and I know this could be said about many different movies. It could be said the same for Guardians one specifically. But the reason I say Black Panther is because it establishes such a rich character. And I don't mean in terms of physical money. I mean just a rich character, a rich system. Like, on the real, I didn't like Black Panther as a character, as a comic book character, as much as I did until I saw the movies, and then I thought he was the shit. I never appreciated it until I saw it in video form, and then I loved it. I knew about the Guardians of the Galaxy, but the movie really made me appreciate the character.
The one thing I have to input is, like, I love seeing T'Challa's character progression from, like, in Civil War, especially like when, like, they're fighting at the airport, and he was all, vengeance for his father, and he was straight up like Clint was like, "Hi, I'm Clint," and he's just like, "I don't care." Like, like just the fact, like, he went from "I don't care, I'm looking to avenge my father" to realizing the truth, and the whole movie of him having to become the king of Wakanda is just I can't express how much I love Black Panther. Caleb, go ahead.
It's really hard for me to make a choice on this because as much as I absolutely adore the first Guardians of the Galaxy, I really, really loved Black Panther. And it was like you guys said, it honestly, it is just such a damn tragedy and a shame that we couldn't get a true second Black Panther with Chadwick.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, an absolute tragedy we couldn't get that second movie. So yeah, I'm going with Black Panther. It was a fantastic movie.
Kelsey?
I'm gonna have to go with Black Panther. I love the first Guardians movie, and I love all of the characters, but Black Panther is the movie, and Killmonger is one of the best Marvel villains of all time.
Oh
And
yeah.
also, Black Panther did give us M'Baku, so
Yeah.
whew, Lord have mercy.
So here's the last two bangers. These I saved the bangers for last. We got Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness versus Age of Ultron.
Ooh.
Can I go first?
Yeah.
Can I go first?
Kelsey, you go first. Yeah.
Age of Ultron is the best Avengers movie ever.
Whoa.
I won't take any
Whoa.
criticism for it.
That's not as big as
Ultron
that's not as big as an argument as you think, Ridge.
Ultron is,
Uh,
in my opinion, the best villain the Avengers have faced, at least in the movie realm. Incredible. Oh my god. The entire movie is just stunning from start to finish. And at the very end with Vision and Ultron,
Oh my
that
god.
speech, oh my god, just chills every single time. Every single time. Never fails. Perfect movie. 10 out of 10. Next.
We just re-watched that movie not too long ago, and I tell you that movie is so beautiful, dude. And
It is.
I'm not taking away from Multiverse of Madness because I absolutely adore that movie, but Age of Ultron is just like Kelsey said, it's perfect. I'm not gonna say it's the best Avengers movie, but it's definitely arguable for me. It's just we get the introduction of the Maximoff twins. I mean, Ultron is God. That
Sick.
He's
the
that dog, y'all.
the on this rock I will build my church. Like I love that, and I'm so excited that we get him back. In some, I can't remember what it was going to be in, but I'm excited to get him back.
Vision. It's in the Vision theory.
Okay, cool. Ridge, go ahead.
Oh,
Age of Ultron is better than Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, okay.
But I won't say it's the best Avengers movie.
listen. This is opinions, right?
Sometimes.
No, not sometimes, you biased ass. It's all the time. Make me do the warning at the beginning of every video. Just be like, I don't know. Sometimes when they agree with me, I guess. Asshole.
I got be a dickhead, all right? Jeez.
All right, Mikey, you go ahead.
Age of Ultron, because for the longest time I could not get "There Are No Strings on Me" out of my head. And two, the religious debates, the philosophy debates, everything Ultron had going on to break each character down fundamentally. Oh man, I was all for it. Ultron was an excellent villain. I also love that he basically got one look at the internet, saw all the memes, and said, "Nope, gotta go."
And if you think about it, Ultron is the real reason the Avengers broke apart. I mean, that's
Elaborate.
because he did Sokovia, and Sokovia was the main
Uh,
reason that it all fell apart.
yeah. I
Caleb,
thought you were going to go with a route that, Iron Man was being selfish.
I mean,
But yeah. Go ahead,
but go ahead,
Caleb.
Caleb.
Yeah, Age of Ultron, no doubt. There's no question there for me. I love Multiverse of Madness. Great movie. But Age of Ultron, like Mikey just said, ain't got, no more strings on me. That it's just fantastic. Just fantastic writing. I mean, brilliant writing for such a great villain. And the ending of the movie was really, really good. I mean, it was just a great all around movie. It's not my most favorite Avengers movie, but it is definitely one of the best MCU movies.
And honestly, to me, when you think of everybody's like suits in the movie, that's probably the best like all around suits. I mean, it's maybe except for
Thing
Wanda,
isn't.
but everybody else like their suits are like top tier in that movie. Okay, the last banger. We got Avengers versus Avengers Endgame. Mikey, I'll let you start it off.
Ah, I see. Well, I think I'm going to, for the sake of not staying here trying to decide forever, I think I'm gonna err on the side of logic. And once again, were it not for the first movie, nothing else would have followed. And I think that goes for the original Avengers as well. If it weren't not for the original Avengers, would we have gotten Loki? Would we have gotten Black Panther? Would we have gotten all of these other movies, or the majority of these other movies that we voted on thus far? I'm going to say the original Avengers.
Okay, Caleb.
Ugh. Endgame.
All right,
I love
Kelsey.
the first
Oh, sorry.
Avengers, but Endgame.
Kelsey.
I'm gonna have to go with the first Avengers, just because it is that is literally where we get introduced to Thanos, and he's pulling the strings on everything. Loki, and I mean, even getting inside Iron Man's head at the end of it, it's cinematic. It's great. It sets a good first movie to the entire franchise. I love it.
All right, Ridge.
Endgame. It's the only movie that I've ever watched to make me cry. So
I guess I'm the deciding factor.
Oh,
And I think I'm going to have to stick with Endgame. On,
yeah.
on the sole reason, one, we get to go back to the first Avengers, so that's a good part of it. Um, Second of all,
Yeah.
the emotional connection that Endgame that we all had with Endgame. Like it wasn't just me; it was
Hmm.
everyone.
Yeah.
I remember going opening night. That that crowd. Plus,
Woo.
plus being with my whole like all most of my family was there, and that includes you, Rich. So don't think I'm counting you out, brother.
Wish I could have been
all
there,
right,
but I
good
had
bro.
work.
But like, I remember through a majority of the movie, me and Kelsey were sitting there holding hands, bawling,
Oh yeah.
and it was funny because Brittany turned around and looked back at me and Kelsey during the Black Widow scene, and
Oh
we were both holding hands and crying, and she laughed at us and after the movie she said y'all have the same crying face.
Y'all both hit that.
And the scene that impacted me the most besides Iron Man's death was Black Panther walking out of that portal.
oh yeah.
I mean, you can ask anybody that was there, especially Kelsey. I physically gave up on life. Like I've shut down and just bawled, and just like everybody else was screaming, and I'm just almost hand in my face bawling because like I said, Chadwick Boseman's my favorite actor of all time, and that which entails Black Panther being one of my favorite superheroes. But just the when Captain America, I'm getting chills thinking about it. Like Captain America turning around and just seeing T'Challa, and T'Challa just looks at him, and it's like that reassuring. Cap was literally about to lay down his whole entire life, one versus a whole army, with a busted arm and half a shield.
Yeah.
About to,
And Mjolnir.
oh yeah, and the Mjolnir scene. I mean, and honestly,
Yes.
getting to see my favorite superhero of all time be like me, Fat Thor. Like we get this, like the see this guy who's technically chiseled like a Greek god be fat like
A
me.
North Star.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But Like just getting to see that that helped me a lot mentally in a way. But that whole movie just helped everybody mentally, whether it was negatively or positively. All right, let's
You know
get.
what was wild too about that movie is it was I've seen it probably 3 or 4 different times, and one of those times I got to take my cousin with me, who told me he said we went to eat at Buffalo Wild Wings like before we even went to watch that movie, I think. And I told him, I said, dude, I said, Avengers Endgame made me cry. He's like, what? There's no way that movie makes you cry. I said, you want to bet you're going to cry because of it? And we go and watch it. And we, after it's all said and done, we go to the bathroom. I look over at him while we're washing hands, and his eyes are just red from where he had been crying. I said, yeah, I told you it'll make you fucking cry. He said, oh my God, I did not expect that.
All right, so we're now finally to the second round, and it's going to get more choppy. All right, so let's get some lower ends out of the way. We got Guardians 2 versus Spider-Man Far From Home. Um, I think I'm gonna have to go Far From Home on this one. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of the Guardians, and I know a lot of people like Guardians too, but Spider-Man, no, Far From Home is just better in my opinion. Kelsey, I'll let you go first on that one too.
Guardians 2. It's it's one of the only movies that I can consistently put on and enjoy every time.
Okay, Mikey.
Um. mm, mm. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say Guardians too.
All right, Ridge.
Well, I'd say Spider Man.
Looks like
I'm more so of a Spider Man fan.
all right, Caleb. Looks like you're the deciding factor,
Oh,
brother.
God, you're about to hate me. I love Far From Home. Don't get me wrong, but Guardians 2 is my favorite Guardians of the Galaxy, and I watched that one more than I watched Far From Home. And I loved Far From Home. I really did. Went and watched it in theaters and everything. Great. But I like Guardians more, so it's gonna have to be Guardians 2.
Starting off hot.
That was a tough one for me, by the way.
All right. So next, let's go with Captain America, the Winter Soldier, versus Captain America: Civil War. Kelsey, go first.
Civil War.
Okay.
And I enjoyed the original Captain America movie, but Civil War is just better.
Over the Winter Soldier.
Wait, what did I say? Sorry, I meant to say that. Lord have mercy. What did I?
You
You
said Civil
listen.
War.
Yeah, you said Civil War earlier.
Oh,
That's
oh, my bad, my bad. Yeah, Winter Soldier.
so Winter Soldier over Civil War.
Yes,
Okay. Ridge.
Um, Civil War.
Okay. Caleb.
Tough one, but I'm gonna have to go with Civil War.
I think I'm gonna have to go with Winter Soldier. I like Civil War a lot, and like I said, it's top three, and I did say top five for Winter Soldier. But I can't let Civil War, like just the fact that Spider-Man and Black Panther being introduced to that movie, be my main deciding factor. But Winter Soldier to me was like, when you think of like an action movie, the Winter Soldier was like top tier with that, and just that hand-to-hand combat scene with Steve and Bucky was just
top tier,
top
one of the
tier.
best.
And Mikey, you're the deciding factor, brother.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to say Winter Soldier.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah. Dang.
All right. And I knew he was going to get a little choppy on this one. All right, so let's go with Spider-Man: Homecoming versus Iron Man. And Caleb, go first.
Iron Man.
Okay. Kelsey,
Iron Man.
Mikey,
Iron Man.
Ridge.
Iron Man.
Yeah, it looks like Iron Man sweeps the board. There's not
Oh
much.
yeah.
Let's go.
There's not to me.
That's not
There's
much of a
there's not much of a fight with it.
yeah. There's not much debate there to be held.
All right. So let's go Guardians 3 versus Black Panther. Uh,
Hmm.
Mikey, go first.
Man. I'm gonna have to say Black Panther.
Okay. Caleb.
Boy, that's a tough one. I really love the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, but I'm gonna have to go with Black Panther on this one too.
Kelsey.
Guardians 3.
Okay.
That's fair.
I'm gonna cry about it later, but Guardians 3.
Ridge.
Black Panther.
Yeah, Black Panther.
Sorry, I know I had to.
It's all right. I mean,
I mean, it's understandable.
it's
You have
opinion.
nothing to apologize for because I wanted to as well, but the more I thought about it, I had to give it to Black Panther.
I know I would give it to Black Panther because I mean in my belief it is a better movie. I just can't. I love the characters like more in Guardians 3. Just I think it ties all of them together like and ends the series on such a high note. So
All right, so let's get a little more choppy here. Let's get WandaVision versus Loki.
Ugh.
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 That's a rough one.
Well, y'all want me to go first?
Go ahead, Ridge.
Loki.
Okay. Mikey.
Yeah, no, it's Loki.
Caleb.
Loki.
Kelsey.
of course you would pit my two favorite characters against each other. But based on that alone, Loki.
Yeah, I was gonna say Loki. I mean, WandaVision is close, but
Oh yeah,
that ending in Loki alone
the
Yeah.
god of stories.
kills it in my opinion.
I know what kind of god I need to be. Oh, for you,
All right,
for all of us.
For everyone, for all of us.
all right. So we got Deadpool and Wolverine versus Avengers Endgame.
Brother,
Kelsey, go first.
I might have to hang up. I've never seen Deadpool and Wolverine, so I can't give an honest opinion. But from what I've seen, Endgame.
Okay. Ridge.
Sorry, I was muted, so
I'm sorry.
it took me a second. Endgame by far.
I think I'm gonna have to say Deadpool and Wolverine. And I mean we all love Endgame,
It's okay to be wrong, Slater.
and
Yeah, I want to know what you're smoking over there,
I'm not
so
gonna
I can stay far away from it.
I'm not gonna say too much on it because I know Kelsey hasn't seen it. I mean I know she knows, but still, if you know me and the characters that are in that movie, I have to say that. Mikey.
I'm gonna have to say Endgame on this one. I love them both, So much.
All right,
But
Caleb.
it's Endgame.
Caleb.
Well, look at my picture. Who do you think I'm gonna pick? I love Endgame. Don't get me wrong, I love it. But Wolverine is my favorite Marvel character of all time. I've
Understandable. Not
always loved
Sting.
Wolverine. And you know, X-Men, yes, Sir Fox kind of did them dirty in some ways. It didn't fully deliver the way they needed to in a lot, in some of those movies. But Deadpool Wolverine fixed that problem. In one movie, they fixed that problem. And that's why I have to pick Deadpool Wolverine, because I loved Endgame, yes, great ending. But for me, seeing this, it was a very perfectly fitting ending for all of those people who wish that these Fox characters we get to see in the movie, got. And it was great how they went about doing everything. It's just, Deadpool Wolverine to me is one of the best MCU movies that we've gotten in the recent years.
It's not even an argument. It is in the best recent years, at least since
Yeah,
No Way Home.
and I loved No Way Home. I love Spider-Man No Way Home. That was my favorite one when it came out. I was like, this movie saved the MCU for me. But then when I saw Deadpool Wolverine, my mind was like, okay, Deadpool Wolverine's 100% better.
All right, so next we got Avengers: Age of Ultron versus Thor: Ragnarok.
No,
Oh, that
brother.
hurts.
Ridge, go first.
Age of Ultron.
Fair.
Caleb.
Oh, man. Oh, I love Age of Ultron. I do, but I love Thor Ragnarok. I've watched that movie so many times. So I'm going to have to go oddball Ragnarok.
Mikey.
Man, I'm gonna have to go with Civil War on this one. No, wait, not Civil War. Wait, it was Age of Ultron.
Whoa.
I'm sorry.
You're behind.
So you said
Sorry, I'm so stressed out. I'm tripping. You'll have to excuse me.
So you said Age of Ultron.
Go feed somebody some guts or something.
So
I'll be back.
you said Age of Ultron, right?
Yes.
Okay. Kelsey.
You know how much I love Loki,
Yeah.
but I love the story for Age of Ultron more. No, okay, that's pushing it. I love Age of Ultron more than I love Ragnarok. So
And Ridge, you did say something, right? Yeah, you said Age of Ultron.
Yeah, I was the first one to speak up on it.
Yeah, I gotta go Age of Ultron too.
Yeah.
Thor Ragnarok's my favorite Thor movie, hands
yeah,
down. But Age of Ultron, like I said, it's hard to beat.
Yeah, I get it. I really do get it. I don't take offense to that. I've watched Thor Ragnarok more times than I've watched Age of Ultron, and I love Age of Ultron. Great movie. Probably one of my. It's not my favorite Avengers movie, but it's definitely a real close second.
Beans.
All right. For people who know, Beans is Kelsey's cat. All right. Here's the big one: Avengers: Infinity War versus Spider-Man: No Way Home. And sheesh.
What?
Mikey, go first.
Oh, well, man, fuck you. Man, what? Why me? This is so foul. This is sick and twisted. Sick and twisted. No Way Home or Infinity War. Oh man, I'm gonna have to pick No Way Home.
Ridge.
What would be the deciding factor on this one?
You want to be?
Yeah.
That's if you want. That's if it's needed. Kelsey.
Yeah.
um, Infinity War. it is so hard for me to watch that movie, which is why I choose it, because it is such a great movie.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is. I've cried. Like I think I've only watched it twice, and the second time has been recently. And it is so, like, it is hard for me to watch, really. So I pick Infinity War.
All right, Caleb.
No Way Home. And the reason is I love Infinity War, don't get me wrong. I've watched it twice, but I've seen No Way Home like 4 times, maybe 5. I love that movie. That is my favorite. That became my new favorite Spider-Man movie. And you guys know how I feel about the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. I like, that was my favorite. I wasn't a big fan of Andrew Garfield at first, but I came to love the movies as they came out. And then Tom Holland's, the first movie come out, I was like, okay, I mean, it's all right. We'll see. I wasn't expecting this. But what it evolved to when it got to No Way Home, it was just like, yes. So I'm going with No Way Home.
Ridge, you're not going to be a deciding factor, bro. Because I'm going to say No Way Home. And the only reason why is, yes, Infinity War is like, honestly, when you think about it, it's the creme de la creme of Avengers movie.
It is.
And the reason why is we finally got to see the Avengers lose. And just lose. Like, there wasn't no lose in the middle of the movie and by the end of it they come back. This shit ended with them not knowing what the hell to do. But No Way Home, on such a nostalgic trip, seeing all of the Spider-Man in one movie. I mean,
Plus all the villains.
I physically was shaking watching No Way Home. Like, before it even started. Like,
Yeah, I had the jitters.
my feet were shaking. I was sweating, dude. Like, that movie is just so special. But Ridge, go ahead.
Oh, well, it becomes harder now because I was hoping it was going to be a deciding factor thing. uh, I guess No Way Home.
I mean, would you have said No Way Home in the first place, or
I don't know.
you don't know?
No, because they're both so well to me. I
Right.
enjoyed them both equally, but it's either way, No Way Home was going to win. So,
I will say, do you remember after we watched Infinity War how quiet that theater was?
yep.
And we got back to the car and we were just both like, "What the fuck?"
We were shook by what we just
Listen,
witnessed.
I remember when we all went, and I was crying as we were leaving the theater. Like, I cried at the very beginning. Okay, you give me 5 minutes into the dang movie, and my favorite character of all time just gets his neck snapped. All right. And then
Yeah.
halfway through the movie, my next favorite character is thrown off a dang cliff. So it tore me up. And then I cried all the way to the car.
And then, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so
Oh,
good.
yeah, I don't feel
You
so good.
shut
Yeah,
up.
no, that
God,
You
in
man,
shut
shambles.
up.
that
You
tore my
stop
heart out.
talking.
Like you said, you
Okay,
stop that.
yeah,
I'm
stop.
not gonna lie, that was one movie that I almost teared up in.
I'm gonna start crying. Y'all better skip to the next one.
I was about to say, I'm about to be
I
so
remember
hurt.
the feeling I felt in Steak and Shake
Yeah.
after that movie.
It
So,
was gut
We were all
wrenching.
depressed. Okay, it was about time to start drinking.
All right, so we're on to the quarterfinals, I guess you could say. We got Avengers Endgame versus Iron Man. The beginning of the saga, well, not saga, but yeah, the beginning of the
Yeah.
saga to the ending of the saga. Mikey, you go ahead.
No, someone else go first.
All right, Kelsey then.
Oh
Um,
God.
let's see. Which one I enjoy more? I enjoy Iron Man more.
Then Endgame.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Like I can I don't know. After Infinity War, it kind of like bummed me out. And Endgame to me, like, despite everybody coming back, you still had some of my favorite characters die off, right? And then you're sitting there at the end of it, like, well, what now? And I think that it just depressed me. So I'm gonna go and be happy and go with Iron Man.
All right, Caleb.
Man, I'm always second, but I'll have to say it's tough because I mean, the first Iron Man is my favorite Iron Man, and just the whole scene of him, working in that cave, building up to that first Iron Man suit, and all the way to progressing to the end of the movie. It's just perfect. But Endgame was as good an ending as I think we would have ever gotten, considering how they went about it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to say Endgame.
All right, Ridge.
Endgame by far. Again, the only movie that has ever made me cry is
Mikey.
Endgame.
I think, in all honesty, I might be with Kelsey in this personal vein because Endgame, as much as I love the movie, is so long.
Yeah.
It's so long. It's so good. It's so worth it. But it's so long. And I feel like I have to have my entire day planned out and then not have anything for a third of the day planned because I'm watching Endgame.
Okay. All right.
So
So Ridge. Oh, I already said you. So it's me. Wow. Deciding
Yep.
factor. Here I go. I'm gonna say Endgame. Um,
all right.
I mean, just because it's the biggest movie in the franchise, if you really think about it, and I mean, not, you don't even have to think about it. It is the biggest movie in the franchise. But yeah, Iron Man 1 was so over the top good, but I didn't truly love Tony Stark until the end of Endgame. And it sounds bad, but it's just I never fully appreciated him till that movie. And I didn't realize how much of a character he was that I loved. So yeah, I'd have to say Endgame.
And now I think we're all excited to see how he plays as Victor Von Doom.
Us, yes, but not a lot of people do.
Not a lot of people, but they can get the hell over it. Because honestly, I think that he's not going to be the big, big bad Doctor Doom. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like he is like the precursor to the real Victor
He's gonna
Von Doom.
be God Emperor Doom. What the hell are you talking about? He ain't
You're
gonna
probably
be
right.
the big bad Doom.
They've already,
What you mean? If he becomes God Emperor Doom, yeah, he's gonna be the big bad Doom.
and
I
didn't
don't
they?
know if he's going to become.
How
I don't know if
bigger
he's
can
going to
you
become God
get
Emperor Doom
than
yet.
God Emperor Doom?
Yeah.
With the multiverse and everything open, I don't know if that's the direction to lean towards. But if they do, I still think it'll be good.
Well, Caleb, God Emperor Doom is the one that snatched
Yeah,
Thanos'
yeah.
skeleton out of his body.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I
Including
do.
Skull.
Yeah.
I know. That appears untrue, and I was like, "Oh my god, this
All right.
dude."
So we got Guardians 2 versus No Way Home.
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
Guardians 2.
Caleb.
It's tough. I love Guardians too. I love it, but I love No Way Home so much too. Ah, man.
I don't know why. I just feel like me personally watching it for the first time, I wasn't as excited to watch the movie as I was to see the old characters come back. Like the
Yeah.
movie was okay, the plot was okay. Seeing the nostalgic characters is what made it fun for me, and I can't give it the win just based on
Oh, you can't tell me you didn't
seeing
tear up when
Toby.
Aunt May finally died.
I didn't. I'm sorry.
What? What?
Mikey.
Far from home. Yeah.
What'd you say?
Man,
Oh no,
Far from.
no, I think it was Caleb. But go ahead, Mikey.
I don't know. I'm not giving my answer yet because I want to talk this out a little bit. I think Kelsey's right because I hadn't really thought about it, but I was more excited for No Way Home because of all of the characters I knew I was going to get to see. I was excited for No Way Home for Andrew and Toby, and Jamie Foxx as Electro. Like I was Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus. I was
Dr.
excited for all the
Octagonopus.
cameos. Huh?
Don't mind me. Don't mind me.
Oh, I know what you said. I thought someone. Sorry. Shut up, Kelsey. Get out of my head. But it's also really hard for me to like. Okay, I'm done discussing. I think Kelsey's right. I think I was more excited for the movie to see the cameo characters than anything else. But unlike Kelsey, I have to pick No Way Home because I can't not pick it because I was that excited to see my cameo characters.
This No Way Home is. I mean, I'm not just saying that because I'm not the biggest fan of the Guardians. Just No Way Home, besides the nostalgic trip, I think the plot is great. I think everything about it is great. So yeah, No Way Home. Riz, you said No Way Home, of course, right?
Yup.
All right. So we got Captain America: The Winter Soldier versus Loki.
Loki.
Ridge,
Loki just because of the ending of season 2.
Caleb,
Loki because of Owen Wilson.
Ow.
Mikey.
Yeah, so somebody had to bring him up.
Yeah. Wow.
Loki.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Loki. Like Rich said, solely based off the ending of season 2. That's
Yeah, the ending was fantastic. But I mean, some of the middle episodes leading into Kang and everything was great.
All right.
Yeah. It was man, that's for another
Yeah,
talking session.
I know where you're going with this.
Here's a good one: Black Panther versus Age of Ultron. Mikey, you're
I'm
going
gonna go ahead
first
and
this
give mine.
time. Oh, go ahead, Kelsey.
Oh,
Never mind
okay.
then.
I was gonna say I'm gonna go ahead and give mine because I already know that I don't have an argument against it. Age of Ultron.
Mikey.
Age of Ultron.
Oh, Ridge.
Black Panther.
Caleb.
You're gonna hate me, but Age of Ultron.
Fuck.
I
It
love
still
Black
can't
Panther.
be
Dude,
wrong, guys.
I love it. That's such a hard choice, but ain't no strings on me, bro.
I
No,
can't.
like
I can't be mad at it because it is insanely, almost damn near perfect, if not perfect. I mean, I was gonna pick Black Panther just because the emotional connection and everything that I love about the movie.
Yeah.
But Age of Ultron, yeah, I understand, but I would have picked Black Panther. All right, we got the final four, and the final four begins with Avengers Endgame versus Loki.
Loki.
Ridge,
Endgame.
Mikey,
Loki.
Caleb.
Ugh, y'all put me on the spot. I enjoyed
You
Loki
got air
more.
to lose. You'll be fine.
I enjoyed Loki more than I did Endgame, honestly.
So you're gonna say Loki?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Loki just because I enjoyed it a little bit more.
Oh my God.
That's wild. I know that's controversial as shit, and people are gonna be blowing it like, "What the hell's wrong with y'all?" But like, you got to understand, it's. I enjoyed Loki a little bit more.
I can watch an episode of Loki before I go to work. I can't watch Avengers Endgame before I go.
You're damn right.
Now, I was gonna say Endgame. I was, but I guess I can
I mean,
understand the Loki argument.
Yeah,
we
and
can
I
pick
love
what we
Endgame. Don't get
want.
me wrong. I think we all love it. It's just for us, it's Loki just because Loki's great. It's a great series.
Yeah, Yeah, it's very. It's
He's earned his spot. Okay,
Yeah.
he's earned his spot.
all
You
right.
hear that, Tom?
All right, guys. We got Spider-Man: No Way Home versus Avengers: Age of Ultron. Mikey, you're starting this one.
Okay. Okay.
Mm.
No. I'm actually taking psychic damage now on this bracket. Okay. Oh. Mm. Mm.
No pressure.
Oh no, it's all the pressure. Jordan could stomp into this room and beat me to death. And all y'all would hear is muffled sounds through my phone.
Actually,
And Jordan come back, heavy breath. Anyway. Like,
I wouldn't beat you down on this one, dog.
dude, like dude, this is hard. I'm gonna keep it real difficult right now. Well, I gotta pick one. I think I'm choosing this solely on bias and because I have loved all my life, and I'm gonna pick Spider-Man.
Okay. Ridge,
Spider-Man.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Age of Ultron. Um, it's low key my favorite Avengers movie. I've mentioned that, and I love Spider-Man more than most people, but I don't know. Avengers: Age of Ultron's a special movie in my opinion. Kelsey,
I gotta be consistent. I didn't pick No Way Home last time, and I've clearly favored Age of Ultron, so gotta go with Age of Ultron.
Caleb, your deciding factor.
Hey, how about that?
Well, this is going to be possibly controversial here. I love No Way Home. Fantastic
Oh,
plot, great cameos, very good ending for that. The old era. They did and it was a great movie. I looked at Jordan multiple times in the movie while we were watching it, going, "Oh my god, this is awesome!" I can't believe it. But Age of
But
Ultron was written so freaking well, and it was so perfectly executed that this decision makes me almost sick to have to vote between them, but I have to go with Age of Ultron.
Wow.
wow, I was not expecting that at all.
I know it makes me so it made me nauseous trying to debate.
I
Like
do
my head
not harbor any
physically
hate towards you.
hurts. My head physically hurts right now from having to decide between those two movies because they're great. They are both fantastic movies, but I really, really love Age of Ultron. It's very poetic and so well thought out.
Well, boys and girl, this is it. Age of Ultron versus Loki. Ridge, I'll let you go first.
come down to these two.
I don't know, but it did.
I feel like we need to rewatch some of this shit because it shouldn't have come down to these two.
I mean, it's a understandable. It's understandable. I mean, it's not completely off the wall.
I'm neutral on this one.
You gotta pick one, man.
I mean, I think if y'all all pick, I'm pretty sure it'll balance itself out.
So you just not gonna pick
Perfectly
one.
balanced as all things should be.
Huh?
So you just not gonna pick one.
I'm just gonna leave it neutral.
All right, Mikey.
Loki.
Mm. Caleb.
It's really tough, but I think I'm going to go with Loki.
Kelsey.
My favorite Avengers movie versus my favorite character. You know what? For the redemption arc alone, Loki.
I was gonna say Age of Ultron, but
I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
fair, dude. It's fair. I don't. I'm not mad at that at all. It
Yeah,
was.
me either. I wanted to choose it. I really did.
I did too.
but it looks like Loki is the winner of the MCU bracket.
That's insane.
Kelsey's got to be
I
a little
think
bit happy right now.
I'm kind of there with Ridge, but you guys kept picking Spider-Man over the best movies. So
Hold on, don't be hating
What
on
do you
Spider-Man,
mean?
dude.
I'm not hating. I
Yeah.
I'm not hate. I'm not. It's my opinion. It's
Look,
my opinion.
Spider-Man is the greatest superhero of all time.
I know that, Jordan. I'm just not a big fan of the newest movies. I love them, but they're not my favorite. Maybe I'm biased, but I just I wish there was more to them.
I get you, but my argument is they were so good that Tom Holland's gonna be the first Spider-Man with more than 3 movies. Just saying.
And it's going to be interesting. Now, I'll say this: it's those movies are still not my favorite movies out of all the different people who've played Spider-Man, but the newest one of that is my favorite all around. And I think that it'll be interesting to see how it works out with the whole memory spell.
Yeah. All right. Well, has anybody else got anything to say, for podcast wise?
Other than
Other
I'm
than
completely deflated and defeated.
well, what I was going to say is we want to
Oh yeah. So
send out all of our thoughts and prayers to all the places that were affected by the flooding out there.
well, it's more than just the flooding. The whole hurricane in general,
Yeah.
from Florida up, man. Our thoughts, prayers, everything, man, is out to everyone, especially near us in Newport, Asheville area. I'm talking about complete devastation. Asheville being completely cut off from civilization. Technically, the only way in and out is by helicopter. Is I can't even.
Also, Jordan, if you want, I can send you some links to like people who are in need,
Yeah,
so you
that's cool.
can like tag it below or whatever.
Yeah, that's cool. Just everybody, just if you believe in prayer, pray. If not, just keep people in your thoughts. And if you can do something to help, do. If not, it's perfectly okay. Just your thoughts and prayers mean more than you think. Just, people need help, and honestly, with more hurricanes coming, I just pray that it doesn't get worse for anybody. But other than that, um, like like us, follow us, do whatever you want to do. Just make sure you hit that subscribe bell. Subscribe and hit the bell. Um, just to remind y'all, we're going to be at this next weekend, or this coming up weekend. I'm going to be at Spookula in Tampa. I might give y'all a video on that just to show my experience there, and also we got Scarefest next month as well. Y'all really expect some content from that. That's going to be a great time. Also, we got Chattanooga Comic Con next month as well. So yeah, keep on the lookout for some good content. Also, I will have to say there won't be a podcast next week because me and Mikey will be down at Kelsey's for the weekend, or pretty much a week. And yeah, but expect a video from Spookula just in place of that. Has anybody else got anything to say?
I just want to say that I don't remember if I promised it on the podcast last week, but I was supposed to do a scary story for this week. However, the story I was gonna do. I don't want to give y'all the watered down version of it because it's just such a really good scary story. One that I heard when I was younger. It actually was terrified me when I was younger. But the person who told it has since passed away, and finding every bit of this story has been really, really hard. So I'm gonna track it down the best I can, and hopefully the next time we do the podcast, I can do that real good scary story for y'all.
All right. Anybody else?
Um, if they haven't already been, if they haven't already been mentioned, and I'm pretty sure they have been, but just in case, of course, like I said, thoughts and prayers for everyone, but also, the citizens of Newport and any other individuals out there who might be facing the same kind of terror that comes with catastrophic events. If you are not brushed up on any of your safety training or what to do in event of a catastrophe like what we've seen in our areas, I would absolutely recommend brushing up on that, figuring out what you need, what kind of non-perishables would do you best, and Godspeed.
All right. Is that all, everybody?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Well, that was the episode, everybody. We hope you enjoyed, especially the long arguments over the MCU, and have a good one. We'll see you guys on the next episode. I'll see y'all later.
Bye bye.